Dzień dobry, witam was bardzo serdecznie w drugim odcinku gry Arkham Horror. Albo raczej Horror from Arkham, zależy jak kto woli. W poprzednim odcinku przeszliśmy taki swego rodzaju prolog, a w tym będziemy podróżować do Miskatonic University. Find meaning in the stars. To pierwszy nasz trop. Group selection. You need to select a group that will continue the investigation to the next scenario. Build a group based on the challenge you expect to face in the field. Review the investigator's strength as needed in your notebook. Okay, finding meaning in the stars. Professor Tillinghast spent at least as much time at Miskatonic University as she did at her own home. There is no better place to start investigating her activities before her gruesome murder. Oczywiście mamy dwie osoby możliwe do osadzenia, więc no nie pozostaje nam nikt inny. Jesteśmy pewni. Office and equipment. Ok, czyli możemy wyposażyć nasze postacie tutaj w ekwipunek. Jej dam 2. Jemu dam 1 plus papierochy. Dobra. Naszym celem jest Uniwersytet Miskatonic.
Welcome to Miskatonic University, home of the prestigious Orne Library, which includes the country's largest collection of occult books. I once studied here as a student, later donning the mantle of professor and passing along all I learned to the next generation of astronomy students. This place was like a second home to me. Perhaps the things I left behind will provide you with clues to the answers you seek.
A więc
Here's the Science and Astrophysics Department.
zajmijmy się dochodzeniem.
Oh, it has changed over the years, but no place feels more like home to me. Not even my little house.
The secretary said Professor Norman Withers could give us access to Professor Tillinghast's office. But what do we expect to find?
We won't know until we look.
All right, let's brace this Withers character and find out what's what.
Okej, a więc szukamy. Exploration and Combat Overlay. The overlay is available in both Exploration and Combat by pressing Tab or clicking on the icon representing the three investigators on the bottom left of the screen. Displayed by default are the statistics for your current group, mythos, trauma, conditions. Okej, czyli to jest tutaj ten cały panel. A trophy shelf. A shelf full of trophies, all inscribed for the Miskatonic Astronomy Club. You wonder what sort of astronomy events result in a trophy. Skrzyneczka, znaczy Boże, wystawa trofeów. The stairs lead to the observatory, but we have nothing to do there for now. Czyli do obserwatorium się nie kierujemy. A billboard. The bulletin board includes a map of the first floor of the Science and Astronomy building, complete with a big red "You are here" arrow. Dobra, czyli swego rodzaju mapa. O, a file, a manila file folder. Looking inside, you spot what might be something useful. You have found a new item, epinephrine. Dobra, ona jest specjalistką od healu. A notebook. A note left on a bench of students sits on cases for your eye. It reads, "I can't stop thinking about that queer old book with its strange writing. Even holding it in my hands seems to drain my strength. as if it were some sort of vampire sucking away my energy. The Professor Tillinghast caught me with it. She confiscated it at once. I haven't seen it since. Okej, jakaś dziwna książka.
Here's Tillinghast's office on the left, Withers to the right. They must have known each other pretty well.
Professor Tillinghast's door is locked.
But of course, my friend, academics are no less prone to snooping around each other's secrets. Some have even been known to steal a colleague's research and present it as their own.
We'd better ask Withers for the key.
Nie wiem, czy on nam tak da ten klucz. Od co? A door. This goes back to administration. We already have the information we need. Co? A door? Tu są drzwi? Musiałem czegoś nie zrozumieć. Dziwne.
I say no, Agatha. You will pardon me for saying I have never believed your methods to be the least bit scientific. I refuse to believe that Wilhelmina would have...
Oh, they're talking about me. Norman and I were colleagues for years. So naturally, we addressed each other by our Christian names. You, of course, may call me Professor Tillinghast.
Yes, what is it? How can I help you?
Pardon the intrusion, Professor Withers. We're investigating Professor Tillinghast's death, and we...
Not again. Can't an old man mourn his friend in peace? Oh, these constant intrusions by reporters and police and garden variety busybodies. As I told your friends earlier, I do not wish to be disturbed.
Listen, pal.
Wait just a moment, Norman. Something tells me these people aren't the same as the others. Look at their eyes. They've seen things beyond the quotidian. Forgive my manners. I'm Professor Agatha Crane, and you seem to know of my colleague, Professor Norman Withers.
Crane. To tak jak ten z Dying Light.
Something tells me you've seen Wilhelmina, haven't you? That is, Professor Tillinghast.
Agatha, for heaven's sake, stop this nonsense.
No, Professor Withers, she's right. We've seen unusual things. We arrived too late to save Professor Tillinghast, but we've seen evidence that whatever happened to her was unnatural, to say the least. We intend to get to the bottom of it.
I told you, Norman, that box could hold more than knickknacks and gewgaws. I, for one, want to see it for myself. You there, come with me.
O,
What? Where are you
Jaka
going,
władcza.
you confounded parapsychologist?
To the observatory. Wait here, Norman. I know you won't want to be disturbed further.
Okej, czyli idziemy do... O, Agatha Crane. Mental Resistance 60%, 25 na 25 życia, 7 na 7 mentalności. On alert. Agatha increases the group members' initiative in combat, czyli zwiększa ta postać naszą inicjatywę. Inicjatywa silna. Boże, jak to się nazywa? Walka wręcz na odległość i magiczna average, czyli jest taka całkiem. Investigation przydaje się przy willpower i przy social. Okej. No ciekawie. O, burza. Bullets. Okej, dla kalibru rewolwera. Dobra, przyda się. Tak, a propos, w dniu dzisiejszym podobno ma mieć premierę Home Sweet Home, także oczywiście was zapraszam bardzo serdecznie. Na pewno nagram. A telescope. Small telescope pointed out a window. Peering through it, you must look away from the bright light of the sun. No doubt the view is better at night. Professor Withers. Professor Norman Withers stands before you, puffing his cheeks impatiently. I know you wish to search the observatory, but for the life of me, I can't imagine what you expect to find there. Czyli coś tam możemy znaleźć takiego dosyć niesprzyjającego. Okej, a te drzwi to nie są drzwi, to jest komoda jakaś, dobra.
Ah, the old observatory. Don't be fooled by its antiquated fixtures, my friends. Of course, the new Gerald Warren Astronomical Observatory is a technological marvel, but I shall always remember this one more fondly. Through these telescopes, I first gazed with wonder at the stars and the vast voids between them.
Okej. A więc poszukiwania rozpocznijmy. O Jezus, manual. After locating the locker labeled Professor with us, you find it locked tight. Lockpick. O, udało się za pierwszym razem. After applying a little elbow grease and opening the locker, you find a box inside. Written in neat letters on a label is the name Professor Tillinghast. Item found, Tillinghast box.
Here is the mysterious box.
The label marks it as belonging to Professor Tillinghast. What are these strange things inside?
This symbol. It was in Professor Tillinghast's room.
You've seen this symbol in Wilhelmina's room, haven't you? It is similar to the iconography of ancient pagan rituals. Here is proof that Wilhelmina's research went beyond known science and into the realm of the paranormal.
Many of our colleagues questioned Agatha's unorthodox avenues of research, but none questioned her resolve. Once she sets her mind to a goal, nothing can stop her.
We must show this to Norman. Only then will he help us.
Okej, Normanowi to musimy pokazać. Najpierw sobie tutaj jeszcze poglądam, co tu jest. O! A bookcase in need of tidying. You have found an item, pipe wrench. Komu dajemy, jak myślicie? Pipe wrench 9 do 11. 8 do 9, dobra. Equip. Move. Equip. No i tutaj wiadomo, equip. Myślę, że taka kombinacja będzie najlepsza. Co my tu mamy? A book of restraint desk. So much clutter fills this desk that it might take a while to find a needle in this proverbial haystack. You decide to open the small top drawer. You should be so lucky you have found a new item. Book of restraint. A phrase that pins the target limb, slowing movement. Okej, to jej to damy. To jest raczej osoba, która będzie mocna w magic.
Yes, these glyphs indicate gestures of power, of magic. This, my friends, is a grimoire, a book of spells. What it is doing at the university, I cannot say, but we mustn't let this opportunity go to waste. We must see whether these spells work.
Okej. Dobra, pozwólcie w ogóle, że ja coś sobie zobaczę może. Inventory, nie inventory, tab. Chciałem zobaczyć C, też nie, to jest mapa jakaś. Shift, Investigators, o to mi chodzi. Okej, Magic Weak i Average. Czyli Agata się najbardziej nadaje do, że tak powiem, magii. A telescope. Once the pride of the Miskatonic University Astronomy Department. This outdated telescope hasn't seen much use in recent years. Aż tak dobrze. Nie używali tego tak dawno. To chyba nie przejdę. Okej, to idziemy do Normana. O, Normana tutaj nie ma. A jest.
Look here, Norman. See the odd things in this box of Wilhelmina's? Whatever she was researching, it was far more than that comet.
I don't see what this has to do with her death.
We saw a sign identical to the one on this box in the room where Professor Tillinghast was killed.
I must admit that seems far too unlikely to be mere coincidence. Very well. You have my attention and my help. Wilhelmina left Arkham earlier this year, and I received this box. After hearing no word from her, I became concerned, and I confess, I briefly searched her office for some indication of the purpose of her travel.
Oh, Norman, you dear fool. I was only gone a week. Why did you worry so?
Unfortunately, I couldn't make sense of her notes. They made no sense to me. I did sense a whiff of the occult about them, which I admit made me uneasy.
The Lord intends us to help each other as we help ourselves. Together, we can learn what happened to Professor Tillinghast.
Tak jest.
You're right, of course. Here, take the key to Wilhelmina's office. While you have a look in there, I'll pore over these notes again.
What was that sound?
O,
It came from next door.
My office? Who's in there?
no. Co, ludzie sobie tak po prostu tu stoją, mi się nic nie stało, jakby się nic nie stało. Engraved in brass on the black besides this door is the name Professor Wilhelmina Tillinghast. The door is slightly ajar. The door has been unlocked. Aha.
What was that commotion? There's nobody here.
Someone beat us to it. The room's been searched, and recently.
Just look at this mess. Someone has ransacked my office.
Look there. Even the safe is broken open.
Now they're on the lam. We gotta nab them before they get off campus.
Whoever it is must be dangerous. You must protect the students.
Nie you, tylko we. Należysz do nas, koleżanko. A safe. The safe in Professor Tillinghast's office has been forced open, presumably by the same culprit who ransacked the place. There's nothing left inside the safe. Czyli zawartość sejfu została zabrana. A series of notes written in Professor Tillinghast's distinctive hand. They appear to be nothing more than observations on her students, which she apparently liked to pair off like a matchmaker. While amusing, the notes don't appear useful to your investigation. Ale odzyskujemy sanity, którego w sumie odzyskiwać nie musimy. Aj, nie ten przycisk. You find a book by the notorious occultist Aleister Crowley, entitled A Treatise on Astrology. Dobra, to wychodzimy. A, nie, jeszcze nie. A painting. You see Edward Chopper's painting House by the Railroads. Its dark vertical and horizontal lines, as well as its striking color palette, seem unsettling in this context. Okay. O, proszę.
These are the same people who were in the professor's house.
They're the ones who looted her office. Stop them! Who are these interlopers? Deal with them while the others escape!
Okej. Drapnie go. Okej. Co ty możesz zrobić? W zasadzie nie za wiele. Dobra, nasza runda jest zakończona. Mythos event. When the Mythos clock is full, a Mythos event is triggered, resulting in a penalty for the group. Also, your group will need to resist the Great Old One's influence or lose sanity points. Mythos effect. Insanity. You feel... No, you hear... No, no, no. What is this? This is wrong. Your head is about to explode. All investigators must check their sanity. Dobra, tylko ona straciła o 1. Zegarek się zresetował. Jeden zabity. Nie dojdę. Ten będzie strzelał, jak zawsze zresztą. Świetnie, i przejdę się też. Nie mam już punktów, ale tym razem ona się już nim zajmie na dobre. Pięknie. O!
That scream is coming from down the corridor.
Czyżby jeszcze jedna walka nas czekała?
No, the students!
Must be one of those weird burglars. Let's go!
Drzwi są zamknięte. Profesor żyje? Żyje. Norman keeps casting a fretful glance at the door. He appears frightened that it might burst open at any moment. What was that confounded noise? He says. You're out to investigate. I'll keep an eye to Mr. Vincent here. Dobra. Oglądałem to. The file cabinet is open. Inside you find something interesting. A, no to zebrałem już tego itema, dobra. Okej, czyli tutaj coś będziemy mieli do eksploracji i odkrycia.
That scream came from right around here.
This was Wilhelmina's classroom. It sounds as though some students have locked themselves in.
Who's out there?
It's me, Professor Crane. Are you all right in there?
We're safe, but some strange people attacked us. We managed to barricade ourselves inside.
You stay put until we've dealt with them. Did you see which way they were heading?
They ran down the next corridor. Be careful, Professor, they look dangerous.
After we handle those burglars, we should come back here. If this was Professor Tillinghast's classroom, we might find clues inside.
Oczywiście, jak zawsze. A bulletin board filled with flyers for university activities, including an announcement for an upcoming home game for the Miskatonic Squids, over which someone has scrawled, "Go, Pots." A door. This door leads to a different department in the university. You wouldn't find anything concerning Professor Tillinghast there. Czyli nie zobaczymy tam niczego interesującego. Logical. A trash can. It's not the most glamorous job, but searching this garbage bin might turn up a clue. Ajajajajajaj. Looking inside, you spot what might be something useful. You find found item bullets. Ja mam rozumieć, że znaleźliśmy naboje w koszu? W uniwersytecie? A plaque says the door for the social science lab, but it's locked. coś tam leżało. Uuu. Trochę ich tu się nazbierało.
We must protect the students.
At all cost. Protect civilians. Some fights will require that you protect civilians. Make sure that you protect them. Use items or spells on them as needed. Okej, ogarniam.
Help me!
Zawsze to coś. Nie warto marnować punktów. Dobra, teraz pora na ruch jej. Okej, ona jedynie co może użyć tej magii, ale to ja nie będę tego używał przecież. Uda się. No i tu są potrzebne 3 punkty. No właśnie, on będzie próbował chyba na niego. Refocus. Dokładnie, on będzie próbował zabić tego studenta. Znaczy w sumie każdy z nich. Ten jest chyba przyblokowany, więc nic nie zrobi. On by w ogóle mógł uciekać czy coś, a nie. Dobra, teraz z pięści jak mu przyłoży, to powinien się wyłożyć. Tak jest. Dwa tylko. No dobra, niech będzie, no. Trudno. Czemu nie mogę użyć? Nie można tego samego atakować? Ajajaj. Bardzo niedobrze. Critical bot tyłu. Świetnie. Zostaje nam teraz tylko ten jeden. Wow, pięknie. Tamta być może go ubije. Ups. Nie spojrzałem na zegar, kto jest następny w ruchu. Ale no, zdarza się. Dobra, nic nie zostało stracone. Nadal możemy odrobić nasze straty. Dobra, to już oglądaliśmy. Dobra, tutaj nic nam nie powiedzą. Tutaj znaleźliśmy naboje. Trochę słabo, można wrzucić checkpointem i... Znaleźliśmy papierosy. ogóle też fajnie, tu ich nie ma i nagle się pojawiają.
Help me!
We must protect the student.
Dobra, tym razem to troszeczkę inaczej rozegram.
Help me!
Dobra, zakończymy turę. Pięknie. I przejdziemy się tutaj. Teraz użyjemy. Okej, trzeba przejść jednak. No więc magia tak działa. Conditions. During the course of the game. Dobra, nie będę w sumie tego czytał, bo to wiadomo o to, że chodzi o conditions, czyli o jakieś klątwy, osłabienia i tak dalej. Że jest debuffed icon i tak dalej. You can obtain more detailed informations. No właśnie, z overlaya. No, teraz są konkretnie przyblokowani, więc w sumie dam radę. O, faktycznie jest spowolniony dosyć konkretnie. Critical. I dostał stuna, ładnie. Właśnie miałem mówić, że z takiego bliska to raczej stun tylko i wyłącznie. W sumie póki mogę, to będę używał w ten sposób. Na nim? Na nim. Też mi kryta zapierdzielił, zestunował mnie.
Help me!
Okej. Nie, zakończ turę. On ma stuna na sobie, ona go z nożyka może upierdzielić. Świetnie. No i teraz zakończymy turę, tak żeby ten nie przeszedł. A, jednak co trochę przeszedł.
Help me!
Okej. Ładnie.
Are you all right?
Thank you. I think I'll be fine. It's mostly shock.
This was just a diversion. We need to catch up to the men that were in Professor Tillingast's office.
No to dalej, śmiało. A student. The student is bruised but otherwise unhurt. In thanks for the help, he gives you a gift. Medical book. A handbook of modern medical practices. Healing performed bonus plus 2. Jej się to przyda. Ona w końcu jest healerem. Ooh. From the Arkham Gazette, a body vanished from cemetery Margaret White. The Arkham Gazette has learned that a body disappeared from the city cemetery early this morning. Police have questioned a man found on the scene, believing him to be a witness and perhaps an employee of the cemetery. More information to come as the story unfolds. Dobra, przydałoby się, żeby ktoś wypalił papierosy, żeby sobie poczytalność troszeczkę przywrócić.
Are you hurt? No, just bruised. Some men in weird costumes knocked me down.
Which way did they go?
They ran right into that classroom.
Okej. Wszyscy mają poczytalność, okej. Dobra, tu mamy... Wypadałoby się może coś wyleczyć, co? Użyj na sobie. Pięknie. Czemu poczytalność zeszła w dół? A one filthy są jakieś. A, wymagają sanity check, dobra. Okej. O Jezu.
There they are! They have the professor's things! Get them back! These fools mustn't stop us. Deal with them.
Aha. Dobra, teraz doktorek. Czy tam... Dobra, ubijmy do zera. Już myślałem, że w ogóle nie trafił. Okej, trochę się przybliżę w tym kierunku może. Ej, nie da rady zaatakować, bo ona ma od 3 przecież. No niedobrze. Dla mnie akurat lepiej, że tu podszedł. Nie chcę bandaży używać. Uh-oh. Już myślałem, że nie będzie się dało przeładować, ale jednak akurat na styk starczyło. No niestety na tyle nam powinno wystarczyć. Znowu będzie check. Aberrain Tangle. Invisible tendrils entwine your limbs, slamming you whenever you're in mortal peril. Move distance lowered in combat until the end of the fight. Okej, czy to jest tylko na koniec walki, więc o tyle dobrze. Dobra, teraz ten, ale on już tu powinien ją wystrzelić. No, dokładnie. Skubany 3 nabojami 3 zabił.
They won't be knocking down any more students. Now, let's see what they took from Professor Tillingast's office.
Skąd oni się w ogóle biorą?
Robbing the robbers. It would all seem a bit tawdry if it weren't so poetic.
Willpower. The unmoving body of the strangely carved intruders. He won't be terrorizing the students any longer, but perhaps he carried an identification, or better yet, a clue. O Jezus, znowu zła akcja podjęta. This man's corpse produces no clues. You feel stability of your mind shatters, sanity check. Upsi pupsi. 2 osoby mają na 0. Trauma acquired. Inaccurate. Focusing on the target is so hard you can barely keep your hands steady. Chance of getting a critical hitting open slightly lowered. Niedobrze. Once an investigator's sanity reaches 0, a trauma will be inflicted on him or her. The investigator can be affected up to 3 different traumas simultaneously. A 4th trauma will upgrade an existing trauma. If your investigator accumulates too many traumas too quick, it can change the course of events. These traumas can be purged by leaving the investigator at the office between scenarios. Okej, rozumiem. Jezus, on też? Cigarette addict. What you need is a good smoke to calm your nerves. Where did you put the pack? Oh, there's one already in your hand. Low urge to smoke a cigarette. Willpower. I'm sorry to bother the dead, but I'd better have a good look. A search of the corpse turns up a letter from the head of the Department of Science and Astronomy. It grants Professor Tillinghast exclusive use of the science lab for a time. Reading between the lines, you presume she intended to perform an experiment there. You feel the stability of your mind shatter. Sanity check. Letter from the director.
This letter indicates that Professor Tillinghast reserved the science lab for some experiment.
Okej, czyli znaleźliśmy po prostu list. Patting it down should turn up a clue. The unmoving body of the ones... A, to już czytaliśmy. From the dead man's pocket you wrote out a telegram addressed to Professor Tillinghast. Alphonse Lanuit is the traitor. Stop could pose threat to your life. Stop the herd. You feel the stability of your mind shatter. Sanity check. A telegram mentioning Lanuit.
Maybe it doesn't solve the mystery, but now we have a couple more names to go on. Alphonse Lanowit and the herd.
I don't recognize those names.
Alphonse Lanouille, an unsavory character indeed.
These clues might not make sense now, but we might be able to connect them to others later.
I think that's all they took.
We should return to Wilhelmina's classroom and tell the students the way is clear.
If that's the case, let's check the
Jakie
classroom.
piksele tu
It
leżą w
was
ogóle.
Professor Tillinghast. We're bound to find some clue about what happened to her.
Okej. Notes. Atop the podium is an outline for a Togonautum constellations including Andromeda, Aquarius, Capricorn, Pegasus and Pisces. Knowledge search. A structure in style of a student's callback. O, znalazłem coś. A searched in style of student's callback. Speed at Ham Secrets. Magic defense bonus. A nie chcę używać. Move tutaj. Niech się zestakuje. Dobra, wychodzi na to, że możemy się chyba wrócić już. Bo nic na razie się tu nie podświetla. Oho. Jeszcze trochę tu jest, widzę. You discover a record of comet sightings since the dawn of astronomy. Some of these comets won't return for another 10,000 years. Interestingly, Wilhelma Tillinghast is listed as one of its powers, but that was 15 years ago. A bust. A marble bust of distinguished looking man. The plaque is inscribed James Irvin, President, Miskatonic University. Lepszy ryc niż nic. Tu nic ciekawego się nie podświetla. A trophy shelf, a shelf full of trophies, but something else catches your eye. Straining, you finally reach just far enough to grab the items. Bullets, pocket watch. Mythos clock drops to 0. Dobra, zestakować na trójce i mamy też i naboje. Dobra, niczego więcej nie ma. This story is related to marine biology, that's far from pursuing a specialization. To oglądałem czy nie? A, tak, oglądałem, to był ten test zdolności. Oglądałem? Tak. Tu się drzwi odblokowały. As you try to open the door to Professor Tillinghast's classroom, you feel a heavy resistance. It seems those inside have barricaded the door. Are they gone? Calls the timid voice of a student. The door has been unlocked.
It's all clear, students. We've taken care of those brutes.
Zamiast wezwać policję czy
Thank you,
coś?
Professor. First, we must tend to the weak. Then we can take a look around this classroom.
Social. A calm mind is the best answering question. Wide-eyed and open-mouthed, the student shudders in the throes of panic. With quiet words of a smoothing voice, you manage to calm the student. She thanks you with a smile and a gift. Bromocaffeine. Action point restoration 5. O, przyda się. Przepraszam, przyda się na pewno. Notes. Notes atop this desk outline the way ancient cultures regarded the constellations. Presumably the most recent topic addressed in this room. Pełno notatek, pełno jakichś tutaj widzę rzeczy. A student. With your gentle guidance, the student begins making sense. I'm one of Professor Tillinghast's research assistants. Lately, the professor has been working on a project of her own. When I asked her about it, she said it was a project too advanced for me. I guess I was a little insulted, so I spied on her. I saw her look through the books in the third bookcase from the back of the library, the one with the dictionaries and encyclopedias. She seemed impatient for results. If only she'd let me help. Another clue. Object updated. Clue added to notebook. Thanks for the help, says a young woman. When you ask about Professor Tillinghast, she says she'd been spending a lot of time in the library lately. I noticed she kept a book in her bag. I didn't notice the title, but I saw the author's name was Y. Page. If you can find that book, it might tell you what she was researching. One more ingredient to add to the recipe. A letter. The handwriting in this letter is difficult to make out and the sentence go on and on. Deciphering the note, you find that it describes astronomical observations by one of Professor Tillinghast's students. A number of sequential dates are crossed off without notes, as if the professor missed several classes. A student looks nervous, perhaps shaken by whatever he read in the paper. Have you heard? He asks. Professor Tillinghast's body disappeared from the cemetery. The only witness is an Albert Hatcher, the gravekeeper. Whenever he saw drove him mad. What could it be? Czyli...
Professor Tillinghast's body vanished from the cemetery? How?
Who on earth would steal my corpse? It must have been grave robbers, of course. It isn't as though I could have leapt up and walked away.
This Albert Hatcher is our only witness. We should visit him when we're done here.
No dokładnie. Albert to nasza kolejna poszlaka. A trick sometimes is asking the right question. A young woman who was hiding in the classroom says she was one of Professor Tillinghast's students. While she still appears frightened, perhaps you can coax more information out of her. As you question the student, she says, "A few months ago, the professor asked me to return a book to the library. I returned it, without looking at what it was. All I remember is that I was a large yellow book." Czyli mamy już coraz więcej tych tutejszych naszych poszlak. A, mamy tutaj jakiś troszeczkę brudny ten bandaż, ale może być. A telescope. Small telescope pointing out of window and toward another window. Whoever used this last was a peeping Tom. A cabinet. This cabinet displays cases full of rocks, some with extraterrestrial origins. Dobra, więc z tej strony chyba mamy już wszystko. Ja się tylko tutaj wrócę, bo z tego co wiem, to tutaj była mowa o jakiejś książce i o w ogóle bibliotece. Czy to nie było tu? Nie, tu się coś podświetla. The reference section of the library is full of encyclopedias, indexes, dictionaries and all manner of helpful books. Oops. Your thorough search gives you a light review of astronomy, but you find no proof that Professor Tillinghast reviewed these volumes recently. The bookcase contains many volumes on the study of geology, including a section of the properties authorities. Dobra, ta trzecia półka. O Jezu, tego jest więcej. Dobra, mamy my tu w ogóle jakieś poszlaki czy coś? Oni coś gadali o żółtej książce. A book in the shell are dedicated especially to astronomical observation, the study of stars, constellations, comets, and of course the planets. O Jezus. You feel the awful gaze of the great old ones on you, the spurred nurse of your remaining sanity. Increase the chances of failing your next sanity check until the next scenario. Dobra, i co mi tu zostało? G to L. No i też nie tutaj, to jest o ja piernicze. No tak, tu gdzieś była mowa o tym, o czym oni... O czym ona, czego ona szukała. Tam coś było between dictionaries. Okej, czyli to może być tutaj. Ajajaj, to było G to L. A ja mam zrobić S do Z? Też nie? No nie gadajcie mi takich rzeczy. Dobra, tutaj to też odpada. Receive low psychical damage. Co tu się dzieje? Coś się tutaj tak troszeczkę zepsuło chyba. Gdzie jestem? Dobra, muszę zrestartować checkpoint z tego co widzę. Coś się zepsuło. No tutaj się już zaczyna robić trochę ciężej. Chociaż chyba troszeczkę niebacznie obserwowałem to, co oni mówili. Dobra, jest ok. Pozwólcie mi, że jeszcze raz do nich tam pójdę. O ile będzie możliwość wypytania ich. Ok, ona nam dawała item. Więc ona odpada. She'd be spending a lot of time in the library, in her bag. Author's name was Y. Page. If you can find that book, it might help you. Okay. I saw her look through the books in the third bookcase from the back of the library. The one with all the dictionaries and encyclopedias. Okej. Czyli na półce z encyklopediami. Nie, ten nas tutaj postraszył trochę. Dobra. Czyli już wiemy, że to będzie ten bookshelf, czyli półka z encyklopediami i słownikami. To akurat dużo daje, o 4 opcje, raz, 2, 3, 4 będę miał jeszcze jedną szansę na utracenie. Że tak powiem, mytosa. Oglądałem to? A note on the table most likely written by a student. To jest przepis jakiś. Dobra. Browsing this section, number of books attract your attention. The heavy yellow volume. No i znalazłem. Among the references books you find one listing scientific groups in the United States. One of them is called the Herd of Algety, a small astronomical society based in New Orleans, Garden District. The book borrowed by Tillinghast.
Here it is again. The Herd of Algety. There's some sort of astronomy club. That explains the professor's interest.
They're based in New Orleans.
Perhaps that's where the professor went on her trip.
That makes sense since she circled the name in the book.
I do feel a pang of guilt at defacing a book in such a manner. I must have had a very good reason for it.
I think we visited all the places Professor Tillinghast worked in the university.
It's about time we return to Norman's office. Perhaps he's made some headway with those notes.
Dobra, idziemy teraz do naszego profesora. Ups, nie tu. No i powiem wam szczerze, że jeśli się rozchodzi o kwestie recenzji na Steamie, one są mieszane, negatywne i tak dalej. I ktoś tam napisał nawet, że tylko mamy parę opcji, poklikać, zwiedzić i do widzenia, a tu w międzyczasie się okazuje, że jednak nie do końca tak jest. A dlaczego? Najzwyczajniej na świecie, jak widać, mamy też między innymi parę opcji i musimy też czytać, o czym rozmawiamy.
Ah, you're back at last. Did you find the cause of the commotion?
We took care of it, Doc. Still, there might be trouble ahead.
We discovered another clue as to what happened to Professor Tillinghast, as well as an enemy.
An enemy of Wilhelmina? Poppycock. Everyone liked her, even the students.
Do you know any reason why she requested exclusive access to the science lab for several days?
What? No, she had no need of a lab. As an astronomer, she spent most of her time in the observatory, not among flasks and beakers.
The broken glass we found in Professor Tillinghast's house looked like it might have been a flask or beaker.
Here, this is the key to the science lab. You can find the entrance in front of Wilhelmina's classroom.
No, powiem szczerze, że spodziewałem się, że też te rozdziały, tudzież misje będą troszkę krótsze, a tu się okazuje, że jednak... A, tutaj nie bardzo. A, tutaj przecież byliśmy już, no... Chociaż... Oglądałem tą półkę? A, tu wszystko oglądałem już, dobra. Ooh.
How did you? I could have sworn I locked that door. You'll regret opening it.
There's something very wrong about this man.
Look what he did to that god! Grab him before he tries it with us!
Kolejna bit... O! Tutaj ich już jest troszeczkę więcej. Nie, dobra, nie będę ryzykował. Przejdę się tutaj, do tego punktu. Z tego punktu użyję sobie bandaża. Tak jest. Odpuszczę tą rundę. O, ładnie. Teraz nasza koleżanka. Tak, i rzuć zaklęcia. Na niego. O. Spellbook. Spellbooks allow the investigator to manipulate unfathomable energies. While spellbook is equipped, the investigator can't use Overwatch, no matter the nature of the spell. Some also may have unknown effects on the group or enemies. Oh. Zestunował mnie. Dobra. Wow, krytykala dostał. Ładnie. Pięknie. Zostało nam jeszcze 2. Skubany się wziął na mnie. Za 11, okej. Nie zabiję go. O, ale tutaj kryt siadł bardzo ładnie. Chociaż z tego bliska to powinien właśnie siadać kryt. Przechodzimy do następnej postaci. Mam nadzieję, że on mnie nie zabije. O Jezu, chyba tak. Knockout. When an investigator health drops to 0 during a fight, he or she will drop on the ground until the end of the fight, or until you use an empyrean item. If at least one member of the group survives the fight, all the knocked out... okej. Czyli po prostu po walce wszyscy wstają, ale trzeba wygrać, że tak powiem, bitwę. Co to jest Overwatch w ogóle? This action is called Overwatch, so we will prepare to attack to the first enemy that moves within their weapon's range. Select the direction of the attack by using or holding... Dobra, ogarniam. O, ale chyba go zabiła. No, dokładnie. Dobra, udało się. Co jej się dzieje? Trauma acquired. You'll want the blame. You deserve to be punished. You'll do it yourself. Low chance in losing health every few steps. O Jezus. Ona będzie musiała iść do odpoczynku po tej misji.
That man cast a spell. Oh, I know how that sounds, but you saw it with your own eyes. Something Wilhelmina researched proved dangerous, fatally so for her.
Serio? Let's see what the corpse carried in life. Put down a note. You feel the stability of your mind, a shattered sanity. On a scrap of paper in his pocket, you find a list of location. Professor Tillinghast mentioned Miskatonic University, the asylum, and something called the witch house. Okay. No tutaj jeszcze coś mamy. Move. Okej. Zestakujmy te itemy. Ej, nie ten przycisk. Class notes on this Hulk board are permanently erased. as if someone had begun to clear the boards before noticing the enormous "do not erase" notice. A, to się nie świeci, to po prostu palnik jest załączony. Desk. Scattered pages and notebooks litter the area. It might be tedious to search it all, but doing so might turn up an overclocked clue. Many of the jumbled notes mention the imminent passage of a comet Professor Tillinghast appeared to be studying. Okay. Ooh. Co to jest?
Heaven preserve us. It's a little demon in a bottle.
No matter its origin, you must admit it is a scientifically important discovery.
That container looks the same as the broken glass we found at Professor Tillinghast's house. Do you suppose someone took one there?
Another point of data, good. A weird worm-like creature with strange tentacle-like growths lies on an operating table. It appears dead or dormant. Something about its strange appearance strikes into your heart, but it's seamlessly fascinating. You decide to take it with you.
We can't let this thing fall into the wrong hands. We better take it with us.
A thorough study of the cadaver might reveal fascinating data.
Are you sure that's such a good idea?
We should at least examine the thing. Who knows what clues its body might hold?
I suppose it might tell us something about what happened to Professor Tillinghast.
Yes, that seems like the prudent decision.
Completed. Madness overcomes you. Professor Tillinghast spent at least as much time at Miskatonic University. To dobra, to jest opis tego scenariusza. Find information on Professor Tillinghast. Secondary nie było żadnych. Zoe to by się przydało, żeby tutaj odpoczęła trochę. Your investigators are returning to the office.
Gravekeeper Albert Hatcher is the only one who saw how my body left the cemetery. And whatever it was broke his sanity. Questioning a madman might not be easy, but it's the only lead you have.
I w tym momencie zakończymy sobie drugi odcinek, który okazał się być ponadgodzinny. Ale to dobrze. Przyjemnie się grało, ja nie narzekam. Nie nudziłem się. Wręcz przeciwnie. Poznaliśmy, z czym tą grę będzie się jadło. Dzięki wielkie za uwagę i do zobaczenia w kolejnym odcinku Horroru z Arkham.